Hey, good morning. Welcome to the Daily Dose. So this week we've been talking about the theme of light. And so I use those three verses, whether it was 1 John 1:7 or John 8:12 or John 12:36. I read those for probably the first 60 days or so. If you remember my devotion, my declarations, my schedule, my tasks. And so those were a part of just a series of different readings and things that I do in my chair time. But those three verses stuck with me, I think, for about the first maybe 45 days, 60 days, I don't know, somewhere around there. And I read those every day because I wanted the theme of light to get inside of me. So the second theme that I felt like the Holy Spirit began to direct me to was this idea of growth. So the verse that the Father led me to was in Luke 9:23. It says, Jesus says this, he said to them all, "Whoever wants to be my disciple must deny themselves, take up their cross daily, and follow me." So let's just pause right there and answer a couple of questions. First of all, what's a disciple? A disciple is somebody who finds and follows Jesus. They take all of themselves and they say, "I'm going to follow you, Jesus. Like, you're going to be the most important person in my life." Remember, we talked about that relationship? Like, I am following you. I'm going to walk in the light as you are in the light, and you are the light. And so, like, I'm going to follow you. So what's a disciple? Somebody who finds and follows Jesus. Now, here's what Jesus says about growth. If you want to grow in him, okay, then he says, you have to deny yourself, which I don't know about you, but I hate denying myself. I don't like denying myself when it comes to the food that I want to eat, to what I want to watch, to what I want to listen to who I want to talk to, like all of those things. We're not big on denying ourselves in our culture, right? And we're not big on that and just with ourselves. Like, everything we want to do is to really coordinate our lives so we can get what we want, when we want it, how we want it. And Jesus says the complete opposite. You want to follow me? You got to deny yourself. Then he says, also, you got to take up your cross. Oh, really? Like, take up my cross? Why? Because if you want to follow Jesus and grow in him, then you need to die to your own desires. And I believe that one of the biggest crosses that you and I bear are self-desires. And I think when we carry our cross, what we're saying is like, these are my desires, and these desires aren't necessarily the desires you want me to have. And so I'm going to carry them following you, knowing that I'm going to deny myself, and I'm going to ask that you continue to grow me. Now, this daily dose is not like, it's not glamorous. These aren't like, this isn't a cute growth daily dose. This is more like, really, Adam? Like, deny myself, take up my cross and follow Jesus. Yep. But I tell you what, it's worth it. It's worth it. You know why? Because the way of Jesus, man, there's so much joy in loving and forgiving and being like Jesus. Like, Jesus laid down his life. I don't know about you, but man, I want to lay down my life for other people. Like, I don't want to being selfish takes zero faith. Like, whatever, you know what I mean? But being selfless, yeah, that's faith. Being judgmental takes zero faith. But being merciful, that takes a lot of faith to show compassion. Like, but you know what? When I do what Jesus does, I experience who Jesus is because he's living through me. And the way that he lives through us is when we deny ourselves, we take up a cross daily and we follow it. All right, love you, praying for you, and we'll see you in the road this Sunday.